Well, hello there, everybody. Now, obviously, there is going to still be a weekly vlog, but I did say from time to time if there is something additional that I would like to talk about, as like a discussion, then I would upload separately. So don't worry, there is still going to be a weekly vlog uploaded this Sunday. This is talking about the whole obesity thing. Um, and my thought process on how obesity is treated and the stigma about with the obesity and the way the government see people that are obese. As you can tell just by the video, you can tell I'm overweight. I'm bigger than an average person. Like most, I'm not, athletic build. I'm broad, I've always had like broad shoulders, and my body type is naturally quite a big body type. Everybody's body types are different. However, you don't necessarily have to be obese or big to essentially still be in the category or be medically you could still be obese and not really look like you are. Now, the point of this video is basically the whole thing with how it is looked at by medical professionals. They obviously most people have heard of the term BMI, body mass index. BMI is widely used in the medical profession to categorize where you are with your body type and where you are when it comes to obesity, and also it's an indicator of whether you are more at risk of health complications somewhere down the line. I do understand only I can remedy the situation when it comes to being overweight. However, there is more factors at play when it comes to people that are indeed overweight. There might be a medical condition as to why that person is bigger than an average person. Also, mental health is also another big one. It's something that it's a mixture of. The problem I have is the mixture of how the government and the media put so much unnecessary I think personally it's mostly for me, from my standpoint, as to why there is so much issue in society today with how people react and how people see people for their outer appearance and judge people, is partly down to some people generally are just assholes. Some people just, I feel that they have the right to judge people for how they look, which is absolutely absurd and is completely wrong. So people just have that mindset. That's just how they are. But then a lot of that mindset is derived from how the media and how not just news, as in the media, as in news, but how it is kind of portrayed in all sorts of media. Being overweight is seen as a very big negative thing. But yet, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being big. Being overweight is not good. It is not good for you. It's not good for your health. I understand that. But what I mean is, by what I've just mentioned there, is it's not a bad thing to be overweight. Is when I say it like that, it's not a bad thing or a negative thing to view somebody in a negative light for. That's what I'm trying to say. I put it down to the way society has been brought up. People are constantly told, constantly from being young, from medical professionals, dietitians, you have to be at a certain point. You have to, obviously, taking care of your body is indeed important. But we are all kind of brainwashed, I think, to be, for that thing called perfection. Body perfection. Any sort of irregularity when it comes to body types is often seen as a negative thing. Not just as a health problem or health issues, but it's seen as a negative thing due to the stigma that comes from how it is perceived. I understand with myself, as I've already stressed, there is only me. It is only me that can sort myself out. But for somebody that is overweight, I am relatively quite fit. I might not look it on the outside, but I am actually quite fit for somebody of my size and body type. Why I say that is I have a pretty active job. A very on-the-go job. Always on the go, walking, bending, lifting. A very, it really does get gets the muscles working. For being the size that I am, I've never really had a problem. I've never really had a problem with shortness of breath. I'm able to kind of deal with the type of job I'm able to do the job. I'm able to keep up with everybody else, and I don't lose breath. I'm not short of breath, so my lung capacity is fine. I just want to make this video, and I don't want to anger anybody either. That is not my intention with doing this. It is just an honest video that I want to talk about with how it is regarded. The stigma that comes that is presented to people of like myself that is bigger than someone else. Now, what triggered me to make this video in the first place was how the government now see overweight people are. We are now seen as, well, it's not just now, it's not just for this reason. The government is often been at the forefront to a lot of this discussion about obesity. I stress obesity is a problem that needs to be addressed and is something that needs to be understood. And of course, if anybody, people that really do struggle, then yes, they need help. I understand all that. But the problem is the government, what prompted me to make this video is the government now see overweight people as nothing more than a burden for the old wallet. I was driving to work, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, and one of their news bites came on. As you know, once every hour, there's the news, and I heard a story that apparently the obese people cost the UK government something stupid amount of money in the billions per year, and obese people, it's also causing a problem for. It's also causing a problem for availability for food. There's a lot of factors at play, not just being greedy. A lot of factors at play. You can't blame people for being lazy and don't get off their ass purely just for that reason. That is, the government see obese people as lazy people. They don't look at the bottom line. They don't look at the different the different points. My own struggle with my own issue, with my own problem that I have with my body is I have a lot of insecurities about myself. I have a lot of insecurities, and ever since I was a young child, a young kid, I've always used food as a coping mechanism. So whenever I get stressed out, I still have problems with this even to this day. Mental health is a big part of why I am as big as I am. Now, the only part of my body that is fat is my stomach, is my belly. Everything else is practically just muscle. You know, with the job I'm in, I've got quite a lot. I've actually increased my muscle mass in my arms and my shoulders. The only real part of me that really needs work on is my belly. That is the only thing that I need to work on, and I am doing just that. Just to let people know. I'm not doing it for anyone else, I'm doing it for myself. And that's the mindset you need to try and think of. You know, if you want to better yourself physically, you do it for yourself, you don't do it for anyone else. But it's just how the government can just say something as ridiculous. You can't blame obese people purely 100% for those things with what I heard on the news. So obese people are seen as nothing more nothing more of a financial burden on the government. And then can you see why there is such a stigma against people that are overweight, and why people have a thought process or a judgmental thought process of people that are overweight is because of this reason. I understand I'm in a position where I can better myself and I can look and I can sort myself out, I grant you. But there is people out there that are in a much worse situation than I am. Bring up these stupid statistics. And statistics are proven not to be 100% factual, by the way. Because that's what the government work on. They work on statistics. They're just a basic indicator of data, of data and accumulated data. And they use stats to kind of get a rough idea, and that's what it is. It's a rough idea. So it's not 100% factual when you go down the whole stats. Coming back to the whole BMI thing again as well, before I finish the video, is why I brought BMI up is obviously BMI is body mass index, and BMI is also seen as is also another cause of the stigma against people that are big, categorizing people into a certain body type. And the reason why I brought that up is because somebody that may appear to look athletic might also be, according to their BMI, they physically might look, to me, I might look at someone and go, wow, he looks, he looks in good shape, or she looks in good shape, or whatever. But yet, if you look at the BMI, through going to the doctors or whatever, look at the BMI might be it might be a bit higher than, and the doctors look at that, or some kind of healthcare professional looks at that, and you're like, oh, your BMI is should be higher, you should be at this number, so it might be worth maybe trying to lose some weight. And then this causes body consciousness problems, and this is what also goes into the thing of anorexia. It causes issues of anorexia, dietary problems, where you see young people going into very drastic measures to try and lower their body mass, and they end up causing more health problems for themselves because they aren't getting the natural resources that they need, that their body needs in order to function properly. Yes, it's an indicator, but the fact is that it falsely categorizes people. I think it just falsely it falsely just categorizes people. Yes, my BMI is higher than most people. It will be. I mean, I am a naturally big person anyway. But the only thing on my person that needs working on to try and reduce is my belly. My BMI will never be will never, no matter how much weight I lose, I will still always be overweight according to my BMI rating. I will always be overweight according to my BMI when it comes to a healthcare professional. I could lose about 8 stone and I would still be over my BMI rating because the last time I was told, and it was put in black and white to me, when I was about 12 years old, my body mass, when I was 12 years old, that is how I should be now. I don't even know how big I was. I don't know what I was back then, back when I was 12 to 14 years old. But according to my doctor, when I went for one of my health checkups, that is what I should have looked. That's how I should be. That is the weight I should have been. Or that is what my BMI should be, is when I was back then. It causes people to be incredibly conscious of what they're eating to the point where they hardly eat anything. And then on my side of the spectrum, it causes people to overeat because of the stress and the stigma and the problems that comes with it. And then I naturally end up on the other side of the scale by putting on weight because of how people perceive people and everything else that comes into it. It's just scaremongering tactics. But the problem is, I understand obesity is a big problem, and it is something that needs to be looked into. But the fact is, a lot of people like psychiatrists and counsellors and that, they've come forward and said, you need to understand this. If those people are the ones that are saying, people that are like psychiatrists, psychologists, counsellors, people like that have probably seen so many cases over their careers of people that are overweight and they've got a lot of problems with self-confidence and body confidence and all that. They've probably had so many cases of that, and they're coming forward and saying that a lot of this is caused by a lot of unnecessary stress put on them, which is true. It's unnecessary stress that is bestowed upon people of a bigger body type. Stop the whole judgmental approach to everybody. People are who they are. You are who you are. Embrace that. Take solace in good people in your life. And just, if you need help, then seek it. Go for it. If you want to better yourself body-wise, then all power to you. Do it. Only do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for you. That's the most important thing. Just be nice. That is the best thing. Thank you.